The tea is exceptionally good today. Who made this? Very delicious. Hold on.
What up, Cosmic Cousins? It's your girl, Nova Charm, and welcome back to another episode of Astrology Tea with Nova Charm. And on today's episode, we are stepping into that illuminating energy that is that full moon in Libra. All about that love, balance, and partnerships. And the universe said, we got some things that we need to release, honey. But before I dive too deep into it, you already know what to do. Go on and hit that like, go on and subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss any of this Cosmic Tea. Let's get into it. Now, this full moon is set to take center stage on April 2nd. And seeing as how we've been basking in the energy of that sister sign Aries, the universe straight turned around and said, now what's up with them relationships? So without a doubt, if the universe is calling it out, it's definitely time to take a look and see what this energy is finna be for us. Now, for those of you who are new here, you need to know that full moons are for releasing energy, whereas new moons are for setting intentions. So with this full moon being directed around Libra, the universe is clearly asking us what needs to be released when it comes to partnerships, how we look at partnerships, and what we need to balance our life in order to make things fair. So what does a full moon represent? Well, in astrology, the full moon is the peak. It's the moment of illumination, culmination, and harvest. Now, if you planted a seed 6 months ago during that Libra new moon, this would be the time when you finally see what has blossomed from that. Or maybe there are some things that just need to be adjusted and tweaked. Either way, this is a check-in point. Full moon brings out the things that are hidden and it brings it to light. So it's definitely time for emotional release and power clarity, okay? Now, with that being said, since this energy is in the flavor of Libra, which is Venus ruled, it's dealing with the beauty, the harmony, and the love of it all. Represented by the scales of justice, Libra is the archetype for diplomacy. She carries the aesthetic of grace with her and justice. She finna make shit fair. While Aries, the sister sign, is focused on self, Libra's focus tends to be the other. Libra energy is that mirror energy, literally attracting to you what is hidden. Represented by that 7th house, it literally calls in the energy that we feel is needed to balance us out. Now, because of the fact that Libra energy is so peaceful, it does sometimes struggle with making decisions. And this is just simply because it sees all sides of the picture. But nevertheless, seeing as how the sun is in Aries, which is focused on self, and the moon right now is full in Libra, which is focused on relationships and partnerships, there definitely has to be a balancing act and a long, realistic look at what we need from our partner and our partnerships. That's right. A lot of you will be going through a relationship audit. This energy just kind of brings that about. And because this is in a critical degree, like the 12th degree, which is a Pisces degree, there is going to be a lot of collective tension where we're feeling that this is going to be a clash between independence and partnerships. And there may be some things that just need to be released. Now, Aries does push us to fight, to initiate things, and to prioritize our own needs. But Libra kind of pulls us back like, hold on now. There are others to consider. It's just a big time to really look at those emotional contracts and see if these contracts are worthy of being renewed. This energy sometimes brings a heavy major turning point when it comes to partnerships or even any type of legal treaties or any type of public agreements as well. Now, as a collective, we should probably be looking at highly visible shifts when it comes around diplomacy. We might even see a celebrity breakup or two. Just saying. This energy kind of just pushes that inevitable energy to the forefront. Also, justice and equality is going to be a big theme. As a collective, we've been needing a lot of justice. And everybody's been demanding a lot of balance and fairness in our social systems. But probably the biggest theme around this collective right now is going to be the price of peace. Okay? Like, this is definitely a time where the collective is kind of looking around and saying, are we just going to keep letting this shit go on just so, we can keep things peaceful, so we can keep things uninterrupted in our everyday life? Or do we need to use some of that Aries energy and kick up a little dust so we can get that balance back? Now, don't get it twisted. We definitely been seeing all over the world an uprising, protests of all kinds. But for the most part, these protests have been peaceful. Now, there have definitely been some escalations. Some lives have been lost. And we already know that the media is downplaying a lot of the events that have happened. But compared to what this administration has been doing, I feel like the reaction has been kind of mild, especially in the U.S. This full moon is going to make people start to really think about this, okay? And by the time Aries gets to Mars on April 9th, we might see the turn up that we never thought we would see. I'm going to just sit back and observe with my notebook, use this energy to recalibrate and balance. Now, just because this is a Libra full moon doesn't mean this moon is soft, okay? Because of the fact that we have so much Aries energy out there, and Saturn is currently in Aries, this is actually quite sobering to that Libra moon. True harmony isn't just about pretty flowers and avoiding conflict. Sometimes it's about standing up for yourself and evening the score. I'm just saying. Now, on a smaller scale, of course, it's going to hit us all different based on where Libra sits in our chart, as well as it sits in the housing systems. And y'all already know, Cosmic Cousins, I got y'all. So let me go ahead and run that down per rising sign. And I'm going to keep this short and sweet, okay? And we're going to get things cracking with my Aries risings. Now, because this is your season, you have been absolutely glowing, okay? But this Aries energy is a little thick. So you do want to ask yourself if you've been a little bit more selfish than ever. Now, because this energy is hitting your 7th house of partnerships, this is a direct reflection when it comes to your relationships, okay? You really got to decide with your relationship if this is going to be a duet or a solo act, okay? With maybe a backup singer or two. You know how you do. But if you're going to be in that relationship, then it's definitely time to share the mic. And that advice goes for if you are currently in a partnership, or even if you're single and thinking about getting in a partnership. But this is definitely going to be a time where you want to take that other person in consideration, as well as you have to ask yourself if this is the right move for you. Whatever you do, just keep it fair. Now, for my Taurus rising, this actually hits your 6th house, which deals with your house of habits, your daily rhythm, and your work ethic. Now, Taurus rising, self-care isn't just about buying expensive candles, okay? You really are going to have to learn how to balance your workflow before your body does it for you. This is going to be a time where you need to recalibrate your health routines as well. Make sure you're mixing a little bit more healthier items in your diet. Now, we all know you love to lavish yourself, okay? But you got to keep it fair. And you got to keep it balanced for your body, okay? Also, everything doesn't have to be perfect, so don't run yourself ragged, okay? Now, for my Gemini risings, this actually hits your 5th house of fun, creativity, children, and just your overall joy. Now, this energy also deals with dating, so I would not be surprised if this energy is something that comes up for you. Now, there may be some creative projects as well as some situationships that could be peeking through. This is definitely a time that you want to examine if these creative projects or if these situationships are something that you want to keep making an investment in. If this is something that you could find yourself taking to the next level. And if it's not, then of course it gotta go. And your joy is the factor, okay? So you need to make sure that, like, whatever it is, it could be that creative project or that new situationship. Whatever it is, if it's not bringing you joy, then it simply has to go, period. Now, for my Cancer risings, this is actually hitting your 4th house of home, family, the root, or even that womb, as some say. Now, because the moon is represented by Cancer, you guys feel these transits the most, okay? You are literally ruled by the moon. And that 4th house is the house of the moon. It's literally your home house. So there is a very big highlight on your home and what's bringing your joy within your home. What's bringing you security within your home? Is there love in your home? Because this Libra energy naturally falls in your home house, your relationships mean a lot to you. But it's time for you to stop mothering everyone else and start loving on yourself. Too often you've learned to sacrifice your own peace in order to make others happy, and now's the time to stop doing that. The only way that you'll have true peace is by putting down your boundaries and setting them in stone and not letting anyone cross them. I don't give a damn if they're your family or not, okay? Now, in terms of relationship, you really have to find out whether or not this person is giving you that safety and security and providing you that foundation that you need. This is simply non-negotiable. You hear me? All right, my Leo risings, you're up next. And this is actually hitting your 3rd house of communication, ideas, short distance travel, local communities, as well as your siblings. This is definitely going to be a time for you to speak your truth and say what's on your mind. We know you like to keep the peace and all, but you desperately need to say exactly what you feel. When you write in that text message in all caps, go on and send it. Stop deleting it and try and rewriting it and make it sound better. Leo risings, this is definitely a time for you to make sure that you are standing up for yourself, especially when it comes to those people that you have those close and personal relationships with. Now, you have a natural confidence about you, and think you have a natural bravery about you. So I ain't trying to play you like you scary or nothing like that. I'm just saying there's times when you don't say what you need to say just to try and keep the peace. Just because you like to have fun and you don't want to fuck up the mood. Now, I ain't saying you got to mess up the mood or the vibe or nothing like that. But if something need to be said, then go on and say it. And if it's truth, then people ain't got no choice but to respect it. Now for my Virgo risings, this is actually hitting your second house of money, values, as well as that self-worth. You already know. Now Virgo risings, you might just need to check yourself. Are you spending money just because it's going to make you feel better? Or do you actually need that? You know what I mean? It's definitely a time for you to balance out your budget. This is not a time to be emotionally spending, okay? Also, because you are the type that does a lot for others, this is also going to be a time for you to recalibrate that and making sure that you are balancing doing things for others versus making sure that you are taking care of yourself. For some of you, this may be a time to up the charge as far as your energy is concerned. Your value is luxury high, so you have to carry yourself like that. And stop allowing individuals that you're in relationship with to get you at bargain discount. I'm just saying. Now for my Libra risings, of course this is falling in your first house. You are the star of the show when it comes to this full moon. Now you are getting your cosmic makeover. There is going to be a release of the old version of you, and you're going to be feeling a strong pull to release these parts of you that you know that are outdated. This is a recalibration of your mind, spirit, and body, but most importantly, your emotional system. It's time to do away with that version of you that felt like you exist only to do things for others. It's time to balance out those boundaries and make sure that ain't nobody trying to play on your top. Don't be afraid to release that old version of you, because it's definitely time to. And falling in that new softer version of yourself that still has their boundaries, but is in a state of peace like you love to be in. Now for my Scorpio risings, this falls in your 12th house of secrets, your dreams and subconscious, as well as that intuition and just that overall spirit in general. Okay, this one is a deep one for you. Okay, your intuition is very loud right now, so stop ignoring those red flags. It's time to let some things go. Now Scorpio risings, you tend to have a hard time letting things go, but this is a time where you're going to have to learn how to forgive and forget. Now when I say hold on to things, this is not something that you think about daily. This is something that you just haven't released, so you still carry it around with you until one day you decide to plot your revenge. Okay, we're not doing that. The best revenge at this point is paying it dust. Do whatever you feel like you need to do to get your energy levels where it needs to be. I mean, if you feel like you got to get some get back, do what the hell you need to do. But it's definitely time to let it go. This is also going to be a very big time for you to take the time to rest. This is going to be a really big part of your recalibration process. Either way, the universe is definitely screaming, get your rest and let it go. Okay. Now for my Sagittarius rising, this energy is falling in your 11th house, which deals with your friendships, as well as your uniqueness, that rebel spirit that's in us all, and those shocking surprises. Okay. Now when we talk about Libra dealing with relationships, we're not just talking about the partnerships that are the ones that are married, okay? Our friendships are also relationships. And when it comes to these particular relationships, sometimes they don't always mean the best for us. So some of these besties, quote unquote besties, it's time to let them go. Some of them you done outgrew. Some of them have stepped over the bounds, one too many times, just because you like to keep the peace in your friendship group. Some of these hoes done tried you one too many times. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. At this point, it's quality over quantity. So there might be somebody or two that need to be released back into the ethers. And that's just being simple and plain. Now, in addition, because Libra also deals with the mirror, this is also going to be a time with you kind of reviewing how you view yourself and the people that you have around you in your social circle, if they are a reflection of you. And if they are, is that a good thing or a bad thing? I mean, these are just questions that are going to be coming up around this time. Now, for my Capricorn risings, this actually falls in your home house of the 10th house of careers, your success, and your public identity, as well as some karma. Go on to scoop up some karma up in that house too. Now, because this energy is home for you, and we're dealing with Libra energy with this very charismatic, you're actually in the spotlight when it comes to your professional life. This may be a time, though, where you really do need to balance what's going on with family as far as what's going on in career. Like home and career is going to be a big thing for you. Also, I wouldn't be surprised if some sort of justice didn't come about when it comes to your career. Also, you want to make sure that you are keeping things fair as far as your career is concerned. I feel like that's going to be a big theme for you. That's going to be coming up when thinking about whether or not you are getting your fair pay, getting your fair value, and getting your fair credit. I feel like that's going to be a big theme for you. Now, for my Aquarius risings, this energy is actually falling in your ninth house of expansion, as well as that wisdom, those journeys, those long distance travels. Now, you are absolutely craving a breakthrough. Stop overthinking how and just book the flight, okay? Now, this could be physically or metaphorically. Understand that. It's time for you to add a little bit of spontaneity to your diet, okay? Now, you've been feeling this breakthrough just festering for a very long time because you've been dealing with that Pluto energy, okay? Dealing in your first house. So this energy has actually been bubbling up. So go ahead and do that overall expansion that you have been craving to do. Expand your look, expand your mind, expand your travel experiences. The universe is giving you permission to balance these things out for yourself and stop cheating yourself, but treat yourself, okay? Now, for my Pisces risings, this energy is falling in your 8th house. Now, this is your 8th house of intimacy, transformation, shared resources, and investments. Both investments in finances and investments in others, okay? You got some deep soul work to do. This is going to be a time for you to release things around you that take away from your power. It's time for you to release anything that is untrustworthy. It's time to release any secrets that are holding you back. This is just going to be a time for you to release those things. This is also going to be a time for you to release any type of bonds that you have or any type of relationships that you have that you don't see going to that next intimate path with. Like if they're not going to go to the depths with you, then it might be time to let that go. You're looking for deeper meaning in everything right now. And there's just certain things that's just not going to bring that about. So it's just going to be time for you to release that. Now, y'all know one thing for sure and two things for certain. I'll never come up in here and tell you about no energy and not give you some homework with some journal prompts, as well as give you some affirmations to help get you through this energy. So here we go. You already know. Get your pen and pad. It's time for those journal prompts. Now, with deep breaths, open hearts, and honest pens, I need you to do a mirror check. This is a time for you to ask yourself, in what ways am I acting like a chameleon just to make someone else comfortable? And what part of myself, my true self, am I hiding to keep the peace? Now, my next journal prompt is kind of like a scale audit, okay? I want you to look at your closest partnerships, whether they be romantic, platonic, or even business. On a scale of 1 to 10, how balanced is that give and take? If it's a 3, then what boundary needs to be drawn today? Okay, you need to ask yourself. Now, my last and final journal prompt is more or less like a boundary affirmation. It's not really like an affirmation, but it's just something that we need to do to affirm these boundaries, okay? I want you to make a list of 3 things that you are officially saying no to this month, okay? And I want you to say that no loud and proud and stick to it. Don't let anybody waver you from these no's. And I really want you to think on these no's. How does these no's make a bigger yes for yourself? How does this benefit you more? Now, if you're honest with yourself when it comes to these journal prompts, they'll actually be incredibly beneficial to you. So definitely take the time to go ahead and dig into that, okay? Now, when it comes to the affirmations, you already know. I tell you to take 1 or 2 of them that really stick out to you. Say them in the mirror. Say them throughout the day. Say them out loud. Whisper them to yourself. But just make sure that you say them. Now, because we're dealing with Libra energy, I would love it if you use your favorite lip gloss or lipstick while saying these affirmations. Just dive into that beauty bag aesthetic a little bit when it comes to this. Now, with that being said, my first affirmation is, I am allowed to be both a masterpiece and a work in progress. I choose harmony over being right. Now, my second affirmation is, I attract partners who mirror my worth, not my wounds. I am worthy of love that is balanced, easy, and kind. Now, my last and final affirmation is all about that recalibration, okay? I stand firmly in my own power while holding space for others with grace. Now, I'll go ahead and add some mantras for each of the zodiac energies, and you can apply them as needed. And with that being said, that's pretty much the tea, Cosmic Cousins. This Libra full moon is asking us to find beauty in the balance, even if it does get messy. At least we look good. Stop playing. Now, if you haven't already, you better make sure that you hit that like on your way out the door. Make sure you subscribe to your girl so you don't miss any of this cosmic tea. As always, I appreciate you guys. I'm out, Cosmic Cousins.